All right, it's Tuesday night, and I'm ready to talk some football. What a great week in the NFL. A lot of great games, a lot of surprises, a lot of really just really good games. It's a great week in the NFL. We got a great slate of games coming up this week. I'm very excited about this week. Before I get started, I kind of want to talk a little bit, kind of a surprise fire and hire. Frank Reich, the Indianapolis Colts, was fired. Jeff Saturday takes over. And I'll be honest with you, I think Saturday getting the head coaching nod is a little more surprising than Frank Reich getting fired. If you've been following my show, I've been saying that Frank Reich is on the hot seat. As soon as he benched Matt Ryan, the Colts, I think, are really close to just cleaning house now. The owner, Jim Irsay, he came out publicly and said that Chris Ballard, who's GM, his job is safe and he's happy with him, but that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't, unfortunately. There's a very good chance that Chris Ballard, the GM, could be gone after the season as well. But Wright being fired, I think as soon as he benched Matt Ryan, that you could see the clock ticking. And what's really surprising, though, is not Wright getting fired, but they went with Saturday over Bradley. Gus Bradley has experience being the NFL head coach. Saturday does not. I actually really like the move, and I like the move for a few reasons. I think it'll be easy to rally behind a former offensive lineman, especially a lineman who's played with the team. I also think you're going to see this generate some fan excitement, which when you fire the head coach and the team's playing the way it is, you're kind of waving a white flag on the season. I think the Colts realize that they're not as good as the Titans. They're not going to catch the Titans. And even though the Titans lost, they were very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. I think this is going to be a good thing because I think you're going to generate fan excitement. Another thing is that because you didn't name him as the interim head coach, you may be thinking that you can keep Gus Bradley around as the defensive coordinator. He might actually be in the mix for the head coaching job. That's going to be a very interesting situation, but the Colts are now officially in what I am calling the Sean Payton sweepstakes at the end of the season, because I think he is coming back to coaching. It's just a question of which situation's the right one, and he's already said publicly he does not want he doesn't want to take the Broncos job, which is still that's kind of a fluid situation. While Hackett, as long as Denver keeps winning and improving, he's got a job, but I definitely think he's on the hot seat. Grandmama Measy, hello. Hi, Dan. It's an interesting weekend. Super excited for the Vikings win. It's been some busy weeks. Sorry I missed last week. That is okay. I'm very glad that you're here. Grandma Measy, also your Vikings, what a great win. They were down by 10 in the fourth quarter. Really showed some grit because to be honest, I thought Washington was going to win that game. I actually kind of chalk that up as a Commanders win, especially being up 17-7. I like the way Washington's been playing. Under Heineke, they're a different team. They play tough. They play smart. I have no idea what it is, but bottom line, it was a huge win, especially with Green Bay just completely self-destructing and Chicago losing. You really didn't win one game. You won two. And the Vikings really looked like a dangerous team. That was a huge win against a team that's playing pretty well. I actually like the way Washington's playing right now. So, yeah. Firing a coach mid-season is a bit of, are you kidding me type of thing. I think there's a lot behind the scenes with the Colts. In case you weren't aware, their defensive coordinator took over the Bears as the Bears' new head coach 2 years ago. Their offensive coordinator took over in Philly, and Philly, as you well know, is 8-0, and their new offensive coordinator Reich fired. I believe it was Reich who did the firing. I'm not really sure on the details. I believe it was Reich. So their offensive coordinator was fired 2 weeks ago. Now you go ahead and you go ahead and well, first of all, there's a series of events. Number one, your offensive and defensive coordinators leave. Both of them are doing pretty good jobs in both Philly and Chicago. So how much of it was really the head coach? The offensive coordinator, you go ahead and fire him. You give up a second, and I believe it was a second and a fifth. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know a second for Matt Ryan. Then you just bench him and don't even dress him, really kind of alienate him. And remember, all offseason, all you heard was that, oh, Ryan's rejuvenated. This offense is going to go to whole new levels, and just the opposite. But the team looked lethargic. I think there was a lot of behind-the-scenes things. I think a lot of people weren't happy with Reich, but I never feel bad for a head coach who gets fired. This is a guy who's literally, I don't know the exact terms of his contract, probably made over $5 million a year. He was there for several years. He will get another job, either as an offensive coordinator, where he'll make over $1 million a year, or as a head coach. So I really thought that as soon as he benched Reich, like the clock was ticking. This is a team that was supposed to win. I had them winning in the division. It's probably going to be Tennessee, who played lights out. I mean, they were extreme. I know they lost. They came into Arrowhead with a backup quarterback and damn near won the game. Super impressed with the Titans. Super impressed with the Titans. That's a damn good team. That team's going to win that division. All right, there's no way around it. So it'll be interesting, because I think that what they really want to do as a Colts organization, because this is the first time that they fired a coach midseason, is that they really want to get the best candidates available. They're looking at offensive and defensive coordinators from teams that are going to be available. Again, Sean Payton's an interesting name. And they're going to be a fun team towards draft time. So great comment. The Vikings win in the last quarter. A little happy dance. That's so cute. Firing leads in the middle of the season is a moral issue, performance liability. I could go on, but I want not. Feel free to go on. I think that's kind of the reason they did make the decision to go ahead and fire Reich, is because is that it was a moral issue. I think the team felt a little deflated. That's why I kind of like the Saturday promotion, is that this is a very popular player and a guy well respected in the organization and among the NFL. I don't think anybody looks at Jeff Saturday and say, hey, this is the guy I want to be the head coach of my team. But this is a guy I think that is going to provide a moral boost and really help this team out. So I really like the move. Gus Bradley does have experience as a head coach, so they didn't promote him. So it makes me wonder, are they planning on keeping him? Is he in the mix to take over next year? There's a lot of interesting stories. This offseason is going to be fantastic. I had a lot of money bet on the over, so the defensive performance by the Titans was maddening, but give props or props due. The Titans played lights out. I'm a Chiefs fan, so I follow a lot of Chiefs social media. A lot of people are making fun of Simmons, but Simmons outplayed everybody on the Chiefs defense. That guy is oh my God, what a wrecking ball. If you run a 3-4 defense, you almost couldn't ask for anybody better. And if you want to say, well, damn, what about Aaron Donald? I mean, if you could get Simmons for almost half the money, which is, because he's on that first-year contract, I believe. I should have looked it up. But, I mean, Simmons, oh my God, did he play lights out. Their best pass rusher was out. Then you also have Bud Dupree. He was questionable. He had an illness. He didn't play at 100%. Simmons almost single-handedly won that game. I was so impressed. And, of course, as long as Derrick Henry's healthy, this team's got a chance. if Derrick Henry's 100% going into the playoffs, this is a tough team because it's just football 101. How do you win in the playoffs? Good defense, good running game, and that wins a lot of games. I walked away from that game. It was first time in NFL history a quarterback had over 400 yards passing and 60 yards rushing in Mahomes. And to be honest with you, it wasn't Mahomes' best day. The Titans. I walked away from that game like, oh my God, did the Titans play well? I was super impressed with the Titans, and it also shows that they're going to win that division pretty easily. So players don't have the best morale when they lose their support staff or key players. You're 100% correct, and I think that because he benched Ryan, I think he was creating a bad. He benched Ryan, then he fired Marcus Brady, their offensive coordinator. I think it kind of created some bad things in the locker room. And I think that Saturday, by the way, his name's Jeff Saturday, promoting him to head coach, I think it's really going to add something to the morale of the Colts. We're going to see how they play this week, but I expect the Colts to play really well. Another strange week. I like the upsets, though. AFC East, very interesting. Jimmy, man, great to see you, brother. The Jets. The Jets. What a great win. It was funny because I was not a Robert Saleh fan. I didn't really think it'd work out. I didn't like the fact that they're going to draft a raw quarterback in Wilson, put him with a former defensive coordinator, first-time offensive coordinator. I mean, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I had a major man crush on Bryce Hall. I thought that he was just amazing. And when he went down, also don't rule out Elijah Vera-Tucker, maybe their best offensive lineman going out. And then you look really bad against the Jets, come back, beat the Bills. What a big win. And it kind of looks like that AFC East is really interesting. Don't roll out the Patriots yet. Really, 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 really big game. Sauce Gardner is a top 10 corner right now. I said when he was drafted, I thought it might be a matter of time, 3, 4, maybe 5 years from now, he's the best corner in all of football. He's really moving up the ladder. He's a Pro Bowl corner right now. He's one of the best corners in the National Football League. And also, it does say something because Houston Texans. I was public. They drafted Stingley, and then the Jets took Gardner, and I thought Houston made a big mistake. And yeah, so. It's going to be really, really exciting. It's a great. It's now a race. And who would have thought the AFC East would be a race? But it is. It is. And Allen's banged up. And I've been saying this. You can't run this guy. Bear with me here. I'm sorry. Never mind. You can't run the guy on 7 to 10 direct snaps every day. You can't do it. He's going to get hurt sooner or later, and he's banged up, and this is a big loss because he goes – any starting quarterback goes down, you have problems, except for Washington. Starting quarterback they bench, and he's been playing better. Do you think the Raiders are still going to do anything this season? I'm leaning towards no. You first of all, you get shut out against the Saints. Saints got a really good defense. Okay, you come back, you're going to beat a bad Jaguars team, and they are a bad team. You get up 17-0, and you lose. I was talking about Chiefs social media. They're talking about McDaniels being fired. Is he on the hot seat? I don't think so. But they look really dejected. They released 15 minutes in, I'm having a brain freeze. Out of Mississippi State. One of my favorite players, actually. I really love that. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. I really love the kid, former first round pick, player I really like. I'm just drawing a complete blank. They just released him today, and he'll sign with another team soon. I really like that kid. I can't believe I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. How about those? Okay, so this is funny. My dad lives about 30 minutes from here, and so I've been going over to my dad's house to watch the Chiefs game, and I wanted to watch the red zone because I was concerned because I wanted to watch Arizona and Seattle. I was really concerned about that game because the Rams Bucs game looked like. So anyway, I'm when the Rams took the lead, that's when I left. So I'm listening to the game on the radio, and I hear Brady driving. I'm like, I can't believe I missed this. I can't believe I missed this. A big win for Tampa Bay. Puts them right back in the playoff picture. They're in first place now. Big win. How do you win? Everything you can do so you don't have to throw a Hail Mary. How do you win? ? Everything you can do so you don't have to throw. Well, if you're talking about if you're talking about Tennessee, I don't know. If you're talking about the Green Bay game, that's another good one. I'm not sure which specific example you're talking about. That was a great win. Great win. Yeah, great win. So, and Miami is undefeated with Tua playing. Yeah. I mean, that AFC East is really exciting. All four teams are dangerous. All four teams are dangerous. It's a fun division. I mentioned don't roll out New England. I mean, Miami with that offense can hang with anybody. And I think Chubb is really going to help the defense. It's going to be interesting. I think the Raiders are 50-50. For 30 years, they've been 50-50. Win, self-destruct, take themselves out of running over stupid stuff. We'll see how they manage it in Vegas. They play the Colts this week. That's going to be a very interesting game. The Colts with Saturday, I think, are really going to come in rejuvenated. As a general rule of thumb, when you bring in an offensive line coach, you usually kind of take the personality of the team. Frank Reich was more of an analytical thinking guy, really smart, great offensive coordinator. And I think that what you're going to see is more ground and pound, more simplified offense. I think they're going to tailor it around Ehlinger and just have it be a very simplified offense. I expect Jonathan Taylor to have the big game. One thing about the Raiders, they really, the defense overall is really bad. So, yeah. Do I think Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards this season? He could. I'm going to say no. I don't think Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards. And the reason why is that I think that teams, keep in mind, they're going to play in that. I don't have the schedule memorized, but they're going to play in that tough AFC East. And they're going to play some games in cold weather. I also think that a lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll let Waddle take some of the brunt. Every time I watch Miami, I always walk away like, God, I didn't realize Jalen Waddle was that good. Jalen Waddle is a top 10 receiver in his own right. He is really, really good. So I don't think so, but it wouldn't surprise me if he gets like 18, 19. I think he comes up short. The answer is no, but he was one of my favorite players here in Kansas City. As soon as he was traded, a lot of people became anti-Tyreek. I was not one of them. I loved the time he was here. Without Tyreek Hill, we don't win a Super Bowl. Provided some of the greatest moments in Chiefs history. Was so much fun to watch. And it's kind of neat because, he's having – he may get 2,000 yards. It's a legitimate question. Can Tyreek Hill get 2,000? You gotta ask that. I'm going to say no. And look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are doing just fine. So, yeah, it is an amicable trade, and it might be interesting because you may see these two in the playoffs. It'd be a fun game. How the win comment was supposed to be a joke. Oh, how do you win? You do everything you can so you don't have to run. I was trying to be funny. Okay. A dog pile on the Raiders. All right. So I'm going to start breaking down. I'm going to start breaking down week 10. I haven't checked out the weather in any of these games yet. I'm going to do that by Friday's show. I'm going to have the weather report and I'm going to give you my final picks. These are some really, 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 really good games this week. The NFL this has been one of the best seasons for a long time. So I give kudos to the NFL. I mean, what a great season. What a great season. First thing, I haven't put action on this game yet. If I do, I'll do an emergency betting alert. I'm going to reveal the 2 games I've already put action on. I'm going to do the video with Denver Gator. Me and Denver Gator are going to do a video. I believe me and Denver Gator are going to do a video. I don't want to get into his personal life, but he may not be able to. But even if he doesn't, I will. I already got action on 2 games already, and no, I'm sorry. Anyway, I got action on 2 games already. And I may put action on Thursday night. I haven't yet. By the way, before I reveal these games here, don't forget when you come in, give me the thumbs up right away if you don't mind. It really helped me out a lot. I'm trying my hardest to try to grow the channel. It'd mean the world to me if you give me a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm and share the channel. But Thursday night, I really like Atlanta. I haven't put action down. Right now, it's Atlanta -3. The over-under is 44. I'm told it's going up. And because it is going up, I'm leaning towards maybe the over in this one. I know their offense was Carolina's offense was just god-awful. PJ Walker's going to start again. But they're at home. I really like the way Atlanta's playing. I actually think that they're the best team in the NFC South, despite Tampa Bay having a big win. I just love the way they're playing. I like Dean Pease on Thursday night against an interim head coach with essentially a third-string quarterback. I really like this game. I haven't put action down yet, but I'm leaning towards Atlanta covering with 3. It's funny. There was another channel I was watching. They think this. I think this is going to be a great game. I think the NFL. I mean, these are 2 teams with losing records, and you're excited about this because there are playoff implications. This is going to be a fun game. Steve Wilkes, he gets an opportunity to prove if he's worthy of being an NFL head coach, and he's playing for an opportunity to be a defensive coordinator, whether in Carolina, which probably won't happen, or if he can get a job somewhere else. I mean, there's already a couple positions that's open. So, I mean, I think this is really going to be a fun game. So, yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be some wet, cold snow and ugly sweaters every game, just my prediction. I haven't gone through and checked the weather report for all the games yet. I will. Still alive in my amazement. What is up, my brother? Still alive in my elimination pool. I took the Vikings last week, close, but a win is a win. Great job. I'd love to know who you're taking this week. I can offer some suggestions if you haven't used Kansas City yet. That's a good one. Atlanta plays on Thursday night. They play Carolina. They're at Carolina. They're a 3-point favorite. And I really like Atlanta this week. That I haven't put action on that game yet. The key word here is yet, because I really like Atlanta. What'd you think of the Lions win? Pretty wild. Rodgers didn't play well, but defense capitalized. Big win for Detroit. This was a great win. I was really proud of that team because now keep in mind it was a little fluky. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 40 touchdowns, 1 interception in the red zone, throws 2 red zone interceptions. You have to kind of chalk that up to a fluke. However, give a lot of credit to the Detroit Lions for really playing well. I mean, this team with 1 win on the season. I think the coach is on the hot seat despite of what everybody thinks. One of their defensive coaches already fired this year. Aaron Glenn's on the hot seat, definitely. and they come through big win. It also, I think, symbolizes how Green Bay is just in self-destruct mode. I mean, this is a team that's won 13 games in 3 consecutive years, and they just are just falling apart. It's going to be really interesting to see what Green Bay does this offseason, because this is a team that looks awful. And I think with a solid offensive line, this is still a decent team. But this season's pretty much over for Green Bay. There's no way they can catch Minnesota right now. There's no way that they can catch Minnesota at this point. And playing out the string for a team that was thinking Super Bowl, it's hard to do. And LaFleur, who coming into the year, he had the highest win percentage of any coach in NFL history. Well, then that's no longer there. And it's going to be very interesting. This is such a great offseason because there's so many great stories. But Green Bay, man, I don't know what to think, but give a lot of credit to the Lions. Give a lot of credit to the Lions. A big win for them. And the funny thing is, though, is they had the number 1 pick in the draft. I saw a mock draft where they're now number 6. So one thing that happened this weekend, this is, by the way, football is very fluid. Everything, week to week changes, but Bryce Young, even though Alabama lost, I think he solidified himself as the number 1 pick in the draft, and he's my Heisman favorite, even with a loss. C.J. Stroud, I didn't see the game, but it scores 21-7. He threw for under 100 yards. You can't win a Heisman beating Northwestern less than 100 yards passing, and that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I think that Bryce Young, even in a loss, showed why he should be the number 1 pick in the draft. Because if you're Detroit and you have number 1 pick in the draft, you have to take a quarterback. I was thinking if they pick number 2 or 3 and Will Anderson's available, you take Will Anderson opposite Hutchinson and you got a lot of fun things. And they also get the Rams number 1 pick. So with the Rams number 1 pick, you can still draft a quarterback because remember, they lost. So that Rams first round pick, that could end up being a top 15 pick as of right now. I think the Rams might turn it around, but let's just call it 15. Right now, I think it's 6, and let's just call it 15. I don't know what the Rams pick would be. At 6 and 15, at 6 or 15, you can get your quarterback. And you can also get a day 1 starter at the, you could take best player available, whether at 6 or at 15, depending on who you like. And the thing is, though, let's say you want to get up the number 1 pick. Can you trade up the number 1? Well, you'd have to give up both number 1s and the number 2 now, where before you had number 1 locked up. So, and would you be interested in trading up to 2 or 3 for Will Anderson? That would be interesting. So, but give the Lions a ton of credit. I feel like they won in spite. Yeah, I do too. All these statements are correct, and I don't have Funk or One Pride in here today, but I'd love to know what they think. One Pride kind of left a comment, and hey, I told you so, and that's great because when I'm wrong, I have no problem admitting. When I make a mistake and I pick against your team and your team wins, I want you to rub it in my face. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Atlanta and the Lions has tough. I feel the Lions are going to squeak it out. No. Atlanta plays did I say the Lions? I'm sorry. It's Atlanta plays the Panthers. Atlanta plays the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers on Thursday night. It's a Thursday night game. Atlanta's going to play Carolina Thursday. So in two days from now, and I may put action on Atlanta. So apologize if I misspoke there. I have a hard time seeing us beat the Bears if Fields going to be running like that again. Defense doesn't do good against mobile quarterbacks. That's actually a really fun game. That's a fun game. I'm going to talk about that in some detail here in a bit. I'm going to go in order, but they're the first Sunday game we're going to talk about. So. I'm thinking about taking Falcons over Panthers or Giants over Texans. I like both of them. I would lean towards the Atlanta only because I'm thinking about putting money on Atlanta Thursday. I haven't made the bet yet. The Giants game, the Giants are at home, so that might go into consideration. Probably better off taking the Giants because Houston does not look good. But one thing I will say is that Houston did play Thursday. And they didn't play bad against the Eagles. If they play that well again, they may be able to eke out a win. Kind of, dealer's choice. Both those are solid. Jimmy agrees. Okay, Dan, NFC playoff teams are probably Eagles, Giants, Dallas, Vikings, Niners, Seattle, and NFC South winner. Yeah, all these are solid. It's kind of hard to believe that we're looking at the Rams not making the playoffs, and who would have thought at the beginning of the season Seattle makes the playoffs, but the Rams don't? I mean, how crazy of a season is that? So, what game is the Eagles' first loss? That's a good one. I'm gonna throw something crazy out there this week, and I know it's crazy, but because I know it's in Philly. But this is the type of game that you lose where you're a double-digit favorite against a division rival. Washington's got Hou NYG. It's just weird, man. Chase Young's going to be healthy. I wouldn't bet on it, but I really think that it might be this week. So. Panthers and Texans are my picks. Okay. All right. So amazement, Grandma Measy says neither. We think about the Bills in close games issues. I think it's a real thing. They front run, but they seem to struggle in tight games. Absolutely they do. And it's funny because I didn't say this yet, but the one thing I was going to tweet this out and I decided not to. On a Sunday night when the Chiefs were down 17-9 against a defense that was just playing lights out, Josh Allen doesn't win that game. Josh Allen can't win games like that. He doesn't have that magic that Mahomes has. So I've always used the analogy comparing Jordan to Barkley. I don't follow today's basketball. I haven't watched the basketball game. Last basketball game I saw LeBron was a Miami Heat player where they had, the big three. That's my basketball knowledge. So I go old school. I'm an old guy. So I look at Jordan and Barkley. Now, Barkley is more physically imposing. Barkley won an MVP. Barkley at times could say he's the best basketball player in the world, but which one's better, Jordan or Barkley? And even Barkley would say it's Jordan. And that's kind of what I see. Did Barkley, like, if you were down by 2, which guy do you want taking the shot, Jordan or Barkley? Everybody would take Jordan. Well, you're down by 8 against a great defense. And by the way, the Titans defense played lights out. Like, they played like a great defense. I've watched football a long time. That's a very, very, very good defense. Who do you want to come back? Do you want Patrick Mahomes or you want Josh Allen? And the answer is Mahomes. Mahomes has something that Josh Allen doesn't. Bottom line, Josh Allen, if you're down by 5, do you want Josh Allen? Is that the guy? And the answer is no. Is he physically impressive? Yes. Can he do things that I mean, there's only a handful of quarterbacks I've seen do what he does. I mean, it's Josh Allen. When I say Mahomes is better than Allen, people look at it as a slight on Allen. It's not. I mean, this is a guy, he could play tight end. He could probably play linebacker. I mean, this is a dude who's 6'5", 240, can run, and has the strongest arm in the NFL. He has the strongest arm in the NFL. I mean, he can make throws that I've only seen a handful of quarterbacks make. He's got a cannon. He's got an all-time great strong arm. He's not that guy if you're down by 5, you're like, yeah, we got Allen. Or Mahomes, he's down, you go, well, yeah. Well, Mahomes going to win this one. Mahomes is that guy. If you're down, Mahomes is going to make a play. You don't know Allen is. Did the Bills struggle? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Allen's not that guy. People tried to make him out to be more than what he is. I equate him to Barkley. Great player. Maybe an MVP. Can do things nobody else in the NFL can do currently. I mean, I saw a lot of things Cam Newton did that Allen did, but they do struggle. And part of that is Allen's not that guy who can close things out the way Mahomes can. Is he a top 5 quarterback? Sure. Is he a great all-time player? Yeah. I mean, dude, if you say Mahomes is better than Allen, you're not taking anything away from Allen. So, yeah. Boo Niners. If not Washington, then it could come at Titans or Giants. Sooner or later, the Eagles are going to win the game. They're not going undefeated. Let's be very clear right now. But until they do go undefeated, they're the best team in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is going to be my MVP. But this is typically a type of game that they lose. This is the type of game that an undefeated team loses, where you got kind of an underdog team that's playing scrappy with a good defense, and Washington's defense right now is playing really good. So, yeah. Do you see Carr staying in Vegas? Man, I would love to see him in the Bucs uniform, but wishful thinking probably. I think he's going to stay in Vegas personally. Believe it or not, in all things considered, his contract's pretty friendly. Also, I don't think the problem's Carr. I think the problem's with the offensive line, a defense that's really bad, and a coach bringing in a completely different system and a different way of doing things. I mean, you have to understand what McDaniels is doing and what was done last year are kind of night and day. I think you got to give McDaniels another year. I don't see that. And by the way, what Tampa Bay does with quarterback situation is going to be interesting. I mean, you could see, I'm going to throw out some different names here. You could see, I'm throwing out some names here. I'm just throwing out some. Andy Dalton, because I don't see Winston coming back there. Andy Dalton could be a 1-year guy. All right. Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, any one of the quarterbacks in Carolina. And keep in mind, I'm not ruling Brady coming out. Why can't Brady play one more year? Why not? Why can't Brady play one more year? So I don't get why people are saying Brady can't play another year. Why not? So what? He said he's gonna do TV. Maybe he wants to postpone it another year. I don't see Carr, but if Brady decides to retire from the NFL, there's a lot of names that could be in there. I forget his first name, but Trask, a former University of Florida quarterback. I see a Denver Gator. He might be a guy that you want to consider. There's a lot of things you could do with Tampa Bay. Want to do another great storyline. Denver Gators in the house. What's up, peeps? Man, what's up, you Denver Gator? I was going to give you a shout. I'm thinking about putting action on Atlanta. I've already started the video. I'm looking forward to Thursday and getting our picks. That's why I'm not going to reveal the 2 games I've already bet on. What do you think of Saturday getting the Colts intern position? Does Reich get another shot at a job? Colts job isn't that attractive to me. Okay. Sure. I was talking about this earlier, but I'll tell you what I think. It's interesting because Gus Bradley has head coaching experience and Saturday doesn't. So they went with Saturday, and it leads me to believe that, 1, they think very highly of Saturday, and 2, it makes me think that they really want to keep Bradley around. He could be a head coaching candidate. he could also be a candidate that they want to keep the defense intact and bring in an offensive-minded coach. The trend in the NFL has been to get an offensive-minded coach without head coaching experience. All right. I mean, and if you kind of take a look at the trends right now, look at Brian Daboll and what he's done in New York. He's done a fantastic job. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the Minnesota head coach. He's done a fantastic job. Nathaniel Hackett hasn't worked out in Denver, but that's kind of been the trend in the NFL to go with a young offensive-minded head coach. So having a defensive coach who has head coaching experience, plus you keep some continuity there, because if you promote him to interim head coach, it's kind of hard to put him back as defensive coordinator. So that's kind of what I think. I think Saturday is a fantastic hire, and I think the Colts will respond positively, but it does give me an indication of waving the white flag on the season. And after watching Tennessee play lights out, they're going to win that division. There's no way the Colts can advance and win that division, which I think the Titans will do. So just right in, absolutely. I think I have no idea if Reich wants to coach college, but there's several positions in college. A guy with NFL experience is always going to be appealing. I think he's an NFL guy, but I have no idea what's going on in his head. But my guess would be that he would go somewhere as an offensive coordinator. There's going to be several teams at head coaching positions, several teams looking to move on. He may want to take an offensive coordinator position for a year or two. He also will be an interesting candidate for a team like Carolina. Denver's an interesting story we've talked about here. But yeah, Colts job isn't that attractive to me. No, it isn't, because here's what you have. You have some salary cap issues. You have some age on defense. You have a world-class running back. But when you have a guy who's 230 and runs between the tackles, you're always going to have issues with health. You don't have a quarterback. And you're also probably not going to get a good enough draft pick where you can just get the best guy available. Right now, that would be Bryce Young, and you're nowhere close to drafting him. If I had to choose between Carolina and Indianapolis, I would easily choose Carolina, because I think you have younger, more talented players in play. Plus, you have a lot of draft capital where the Colts don't. So the Colts kind of were like going all in with the Matt Ryan trade, and it failed. So when you whiff on a quarterback, and keep in mind they took a first-round pick on Wentz, that didn't work out. Second-round pick on Matt Ryan, that didn't work out at all. So you just threw a lot of draft capital away. And even though the Colts were public in saying that Chris Ballard, their GM, that his job is safe, that doesn't mean anything. So no, the Colts job isn't very attractive. But does Reich get another shot? Yeah. Bills use Allen kind of the way the Panthers used to do with Cam. Exactly. Obviously, he's better in the pocket than Cam, but they're too reliant on him. I think, he's injured. He injured his elbow, and exactly, they use him way too much running the ball. And I've been saying this for weeks. Sooner or later, he's going to get hurt, and it finally happened. And he's never going to be the guy who's just going to go back and just ding, 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 ding. That's not his game. It never has been, never will be. It doesn't mean he's not impressive. I mean, his accuracy is skyrocketed up. If you look at early in his career, he's completing like 55%. And then they bring in Diggs, and he also worked at it quite a bit, but he's never going to be that guy you just went back, throwing the ball, 60 times a game. So, and take it as it is. Like I said, I used the Jordan Barkley reference. You didn't want Barkley back there shooting 3-pointers all the time, did you? No. And so, and keep in mind, they got a new offensive coordinator in Dorsey. I thought they were going to throw the ball more and have them run less, and it hasn't really worked that way. They're a team that throws the ball a lot, and Allen runs a lot, and that just means that he's just going to get beat up. So I think this is kind of a smart move. Hopefully Buffalo realizes, hey, we got to protect our big investment. It was funny. They're talking about on Monday Night Football, no team is more reliant on their quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I can't believe I almost forgot Lamar Jackson's name. Then Lamar Jackson. I'm like, what's Josh Allen? so yeah. They really need to change some things. I've been saying this for weeks, and now he's hurt, and maybe they'll listen to me. Saw a stat that had Mahomes had the most comebacks from double digit. It's funny when Kansas City gets down by more than 10 points, Mahomes' winning percentage is like 60. And I keep comparing him to Jordan and people getting mad, but yeah, I mean, seriously, it's funny because if Mahomes has got the ball and he's down by 5, you're pretty sure he's going to win that game. With Allen, you're not. That's why, when people say Allen's better than Mahomes, I chuckle. Oh, I agree. Carr isn't a problem, but I'm hoping, yeah. Seriously, he was really close to Gruden. Him and Gruden had a really good relationship, and McDaniels doesn't seem to be that guy who builds really close relationships with people. I think that it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a good offseason because if you are going to move on from a quarterback, if the Raiders continue to play poorly, this would be the year to do it because you have a lot of good quarterbacks in the draft. And you have a lot of guys like Bryce Young. He's probably going to go number 1, but how good do you think CJ Stroud is? Will Levy's or Levi's quarterback out of Kentucky, people see him as a Josh Allen, like Josh Allen light. I haven't had a chance to watch him myself. Anthony Richardson out of Florida has some upside. There's a quarterback out of Washington State I'm seeing in first round mock drafts. I'm probably leaving some quarterbacks out, and then you have some quarterbacks after the year. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, anybody from Carolina, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. I mean, it's going to be there's a lot of great stories this offseason. So I just think our window is still open even after Brady may leave. I like our roster, and I want to take advantage of the division possibly being bad for another year or two. Well, yeah, I mean, I've often said Leonard Fournette, athletically, here's a dude who's one of the fastest guys in football, but he's naturally 240 pounds. I mean, you build a big physical offensive line, you can be a power running team. The problem with Tampa Bay is just that interior front. You fix that interior, which you will. You fix that interior front. You have a great team. That defense is loaded. And Fournette, now he came in, there was a lot of talk, and I don't know how big of a deal it is, where he was about 20 pounds overweight coming into preseason. I don't think he's a guy that you want to get 350, 400 touches to. They drafted a kid who went to high school like 20 miles this way, a town called Raytown, doesn't mean anything to you. Rashad White out of Arizona State, a guy I loved out of Arizona State. You also got him getting some more touches. So you have a nice 1-2 punch. If Brady doesn't want to come back, you get a guy in there who can right the ship because you got enough talent there that you can do some good things. But your window is rapidly closing because like Mike Evans, who I thought would end up being the number 1 receiver in the NFL, he's kind of like it's injuries really more than anything else. Godwin, I know, signed a deal. I don't know the specifics on his contract. He's also having problems staying healthy. Keep in mind, you could also use I haven't looked at the draft yet, but there's some decent tight ends coming out. Maybe when you use first round pick on a tight end. The window is really wide open for Tampa Bay to win that division in 2023, if not 2022. Kliff, what's up, brother? Waiting a hurricane. Oh man, dude. I know you're in the Florida area, man. Keep me updated on how you're doing. All my social media links are below. I know you're not big on social media. I just keep on seeing stuff from Pete. I asked Pete if he wanted to come in and talk about Tua. He has not said yes yet, but I sent him a message and he's like, Dan, I didn't get this till a couple of weeks later, but and he's been posting some great stuff. So let me know how you're doing, brother. One thing, I'm not a big fan of the Midwest, but we don't have to deal with hurricanes. I know it may pains you, but what do you think of Tyreek is doing with Tua? He's on pace for like 2,000 yards receiving to miss some throws because, well, I talked about this earlier. It's like the best of both worlds. Tua goes to Miami. It's an amicable breakup. He's on pace for 2,000. He's not going to get 2,000. And Mahomes is playing. I mean, is he an MVP? I mean, more passing yards, more passing touchdowns than anybody in the NFL. Great win against a very good defense last night. 2 nights ago with the Tennessee Titans. So it doesn't pain me at all. I'm one of those few Chiefs fans. I actually pull for Tyreek Hill. I mean, he had some of the greatest moments in Chiefs history. Chiefs win a Super Bowl because of Tyreek Hill. Chiefs win against Buffalo in one of the greatest games of all time because of Tyreek Hill. So, I'm always going to be a Tyreek Hill fan. I have no problem with him wearing Dolphins uniform, and I wish him nothing but the best. If Chiefs play the Dolphins in the playoffs, that's a different story. But no, it doesn't bother me at all. Chiefs offense looks fine. I don't know if you've noticed. But I don't think he hits 2,000, but I will always pull for Tyreek Hill. I love what he's doing. But when I watch Miami, the guy that blows me away is Jalen Waddle. I mean, this guy is like one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL, and he's always going to be Robin to Tyreek Hill. So get Batman Robin. Man, I thought the AFC West division would be better this season. Broncos underachieving, Chargers still doing Yeah, I've been telling you this. So yeah. If I can, I will leave all my picks in the comments later. I will watch the restaurant replay. See you next. Oh, yes. Grandma Measy, drop a comment below put a link to your YouTube channel, put all your picks. Any comments helps the algorithm. So if you can drop a comment, I would greatly appreciate it. So please do. So after the video is over, drop a comment and please leave a link to your YouTube channel. I'll help you with shopping. Yes, she will. Thank you so much. Me being a Gator, Richardson isn't ready to me at best. He's maybe a third rounder if he comes out. He can be a first rounder if he stays another year at Florida. The thing is, though, is he's got that physical traits, and I think that I agree and disagree with your statement. I would love to see Anthony Richardson stay at Florida. I also think that there's an NFL team that's going to look at him and say he's worth a first-round pick. And the mock drafts I've been looking at, a lot of them put him in the first round. And that's going to be another one of the hundreds of interesting stories that we're going to have to look at during the offseason is which players are going to come out, which ones are going to stay. There was a guy who I had a lot of respect for. I put like show fewer tweets from this guy because he did some sketchy stuff, and he's also been. Okay, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but anyway, he does a lot of sports betting, and he put $1,000 on Will Levy. Is it Levy's or Levi's, the Kentucky quarterback, to be the number one pick in the draft? He got 40-1 odds, so $1,000 bet wins him $40,000. After he made that bet, it dropped from 25-1. He's been banged up, but a lot of people think that he's a guy who has. I've seen a mock draft where it goes. Young, Stroud, Levi's, 1, 2, 3. And if that's the situation, you may look at Anthony Richardson as being a first-round talent. I think that there's enough about him that team would take him in the first round. I'd love to see more players stay in college. I think it's better for the NFL. I think it's better for college. And I mean, Anthony Richardson, I think a lot of people don't say this publicly, but a lot of these guys, when they hit the NFL, they really miss the college experience. They love the college life, and it's different in the NFL. It's funny because it's a lot different. It's so much more different in the NFL than any other sport. The college and NFL game is so night and day different that a lot of people don't realize it once you get in. So I think he does come out, and I do think he's going to be a first rounder. I do agree that traditionally speaking, as a third round grade. So what the NFL teams do is that if you have a third round grade on somebody, you bump them up one if he's a quarterback. So if you have a third round grade, you take them in round 2. But a lot of teams are looking for a quarterback, and there's several teams that are. I mean, we talked about it already. But I mean, Carolina's definitely going to take a quarterback. Detroit's probably going to take a quarterback. The Colts are probably going to take a quarterback. God, who knows what's going to happen in New York? Tampa Bay's probably going to take a quarterback. So this is kind of a year that if you have enough ability to be like a first, second rounder like Anthony Richardson, you probably want to come out. But I would love them staying at I would love to see him stay in college. Denver Grader agrees with the AR statement. I think one more you could be elite if all the quarterbacks leave an SEC, get some wide receiver talent another year. Yeah, exactly. I agree with everything you're saying. It's just that I really firmly believe that because I've seen a lot of mock drafts where he goes top 15. And even though you're not supposed to have an agent, he probably has an agent. And he's probably showing them these mock drafts, or maybe he's just looking at them himself. And when you're projected to go top 15, it's really hard to go back to school. So yeah. That's true. Mahomes seems to be better in the pocket now. He spreads the ball around now. He's more patient instead of looking. And here's another thing: is great as Tyreek Hill is, God, Juju Smith-Schuster's playing lights out, and then Travis Kelce is arguably the best tight end in football. They're talking on Monday Night Football. Andrews is, even though he was banged up or didn't play, I don't remember off the top of my head. But I do remember they're saying, is Andrews the best tight end in football? If you want to call Andrews the best tight end in football, I wouldn't be mad. I'd rather have Kelce, but Andrews can block, Kelce can't. So, but Jeff Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster is doing phenomenal. I mean, this is a guy I have a major man crush on, because what he does is that he just, when he gets the ball, he breaks tackles, he shrugs them off, and then you got a deep threat in MVS. They were trying to get Sky more and more involved, and then if you remember, they traded for Tony, a former Gator, a guy that I love. He played a lot more on offense than I thought he would. So I mean, you got a variety of weapons. So even though you did lose Tyreek Hill, the combination of Juju, MVS, Sky Moore didn't catch a pass, but he was involved more in the offense this week. Miracle Hardman improving, and Tony is greater than Tyreek Hill. So yeah. Another thing is that I mentioned this before. Every time I watch Miami, Jalen Waddle just stands out. What happens when his contract's due? Does he want Tyreek Hill money? Can you pay Tyreek Hill money to Jalen Waddle? Probably not. So in a couple of years, you may lose Waddle. So it's going to be interesting. AR-15 is so athletic, it's hard to pass him up. But if you have a team you think can develop him, I felt that way about Willis from the Titans. Vrabel's a hell of a coach, almost beating Kansas City with him. Yeah, so I think that teams are going to look at Willis and they're going to say AR. But he doesn't want to be called that. And by the way, you can. I've been trying really hard because I love the name, but he doesn't want to be called that because of the association with the gun. By the way, smart of him, by the way, marketing tool. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. Is he a better prospect than Willis? Absolutely. Absolutely he is. He's bigger, he's stronger, his throwing motion's garbage, but that's something that can be fixed. I take a look at Jalen Hurts, a guy who was like a 5th round pick. During the offseason, he went from 5th to 2nd with some tweaking in his throwing motion. You could have a meteoric rise if you change some things up, because his throwing motion's garbage, but the athleticism's lights out, and he does got a big arm. Not like, Mahomes or Stafford or Josh Allen, but he does have a good NFL arm. And this would be a team I would really like to see him go to a team that doesn't need him. I would like to see him, go like in, somewhere between 15 and 20. I'd like to see him, go to a team like, Tampa Bay or maybe Indianapolis, depending who Indianapolis gets as a head coach. But I'd like to see him go to a team like that. That way they have a better chance to succeed. The Giants, they may be looking for a quarterback after a season. What do you do with Daniel Jones? Going to a team like the Giants where he doesn't have to do everything and he's got somebody like Saquon Barkley and a really good defense, that would be ideal. So, yeah. Coastal Carolina, absolutely, he's getting drafted. Now, I have not heard too much about Coastal Carolina this year. In the past, because they were ranked and doing really well. But there's a lot of talk about McCall. I don't know. I don't know like what round he would be drafted in. I haven't seen a lot of hype of him going in the first, but he 100% will be drafted. Great question. Amazement. What team do you fear the most as a Chiefs fan in the AFC? Because since they're probably a team to beat in the AFC, Bengals again, they're starting to come on. For me personally, it's Baltimore. The reason why is that if they come in healthy, they added Deshaun Jackson, so they got a deep threat. Drawing a blank on that receiver's name out of Minnesota, who I like. They have a really good tight end. They're going to get the running backs healthy come playoff time, but the defense, because Roquan Smith barely knew the playbook, and he has really played really well. Adding that type of guy, and also you got David Ojabo who's starting to practice. So Titus Bowser also was off the injury report. So now as your outside rushers, you got Odafe Owa. Guy who ran like a 4.36, looks like a Greek god. You have Justin Houston, who's really playing whites out. Justin Houston, one of my favorite all-time players, but Justin Houston's playing at a super high level right now. Titus Bowser led the team in sacks last year. He's off the injury report. You got David Ojabo, who would have been maybe a top 10 pick. Remember, he was the guy who blew out his ACL during the Michigan Pro Day. He's practicing. If he gets healthy, you have a lot of inside pass rushers. So Patrick Queen is an inside linebacker, is playing pretty well. Now you add the guy who was, in my opinion, a defensive MVP, and I say was. Right now it's Matthew Judon, not David Judon. So you have a front seven from hell, some really good secondary players, and some really, really, really good players on offense. For me, it's Baltimore. And that's not counting Buffalo, who I still has the number. I still think it's Kansas City and Buffalo are the top two teams. Number 3 would be Baltimore, and then number 4 would be Miami. So, that's a good one. Cliff asks, is Tyreek Hill the MVP leader? I'm going to say no. I would have Jalen Hurts until Philly loses. I'm going to have Hurts as my guy. Number 2 would be Mahomes. Quarterbacks usually get the benefit of the doubt. He hits 2,000 yards though. You have to put him into consideration, and they have to continue to win too. So is he a candidate? Yes. Is he the leader? No. AR needs to mature mentally. Once he gets that, he'll be insane. Over the last few years of quarterback mock drafts, especially last year, makes me believe that Levi's and AR fall. Don't understand the Levi's hype. I have not watched Kentucky play at all. Here's what I keep hearing about Levi's is that he's a lot like Josh Allen. I haven't watched Kentucky play. I don't know. I know you don't like him. It has nothing to do with Kentucky and Florida either. So, but yeah, I also know that Amazement's right. He has been hurt, and Kentucky's cooled off some. I don't know. To be honest with you, I really, really, really don't know. No, but I love what Amazement says. Have you seen Deion Sanders' son play? He's pretty talented. I want to see what Deion does at a bigger university facilities at his disposal. He said he would listen to offers if there were. It's just a matter of time before Deion Sanders takes either Florida State, Miami, or an SEC job. I don't think there's another team besides a Florida school, whether it's the Gators, the Hurricanes, or Florida State, that he would take. And it's really just a matter of time. I mean, what he's doing at the Southwest Athletic Conference is amazing, and I think he's really having a lot of fun doing it. I also think that once his son, I don't know what year he is. I think that when his son gets ready to graduate or does graduate, he may go ahead and consider it. It's just a matter of time. And I know Miami lost big to Florida State. I don't know what their coaching situation's like. I know they hired the former Oregon coach, Mario Cristobal. I don't know what kind of recruiting class he built. My guess is he's probably going to stay there after this year. The Florida State coaching situation, I don't know. But you have to understand, I think that because he really wants to build up the Southwest Athletic Conference, I think he wants a deal where if you sign Deion Sanders, you have to give $1 million a year to either Jackson State or the Southwest Athletic Conference. I'm using $1 million as an arbitrary amount. It could be $2 million or $3 million, or you have to match, or there'll be some sort of contribution because he's really dedicated. I believe Deion Sanders is dedicated to trying to build the Southwest Athletic Conference up. I really believe him, but it is just a matter of time. The clock is ticking. He's going to be in the Power 5 schools soon. I just don't know who. I think the candidates are Florida, Miami, SEC. And it's just a matter of time. Miami Hurricanes are still pathetic. Oh, man. Oh, boo. Oh, boom, boom. Coastal, same team they've been the last 2 years, just a few losses, but QB could be special. Nobody talks about. They've talked about it here. Kliff has. Yeah, and I haven't seen a lot of mock drafts with McCall going in the first round, but he's a guy that I think the NFL is really going to enjoy. I want to see what he does at the combine. I want to see the arm strength at the combine. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Ravens are tough too. The way Lamar runs that offense is like a magician with those RPOs. He does so smoothly. Defense is picking it up. They just need the pass rush, and they got it. They got it. Baltimore is a very scary team. What do you think of Fields has been doing so far? He's starting to play well, and they're finally running an offense to this skill set. That was an impressive loss to the Dolphins. Yeah, and Matt Nagy, who's with Kansas City right now as the former Chicago head coach, he was trying to use the Kansas City offense, which is extremely complex, and Fields was not ready for that. Whatever they're doing, it looks like they're just using a very simple offense where it's just 1-2 run or 1-2 check down. And it seemed to work with him. I love what he's doing. And I think that Chicago realizes that they got their guy. They're going to build around him. I'm very impressed with Fields. And I always thought that in the right situation, he could have success. And it wasn't in Chicago. It looks like it is now, but he's doing a really impressive job. And keep in mind, I made a comparison. Somebody laughed me out of the building, but his first 2 years looks very similar to what Josh Allen. Look at Josh Allen's first 2 years. He's a below average quarterback, but you saw glimpses of what he could do, and you're seeing that with Justin Fields. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do. I'm very impressed with what he's doing right now. Deion should step up to Georgia Tech, recruit and win in the ACC. Don't think he'd do well in the Midwest. Keep him in the South. Cristobal's not going anywhere. Yeah, he's not going anywhere this year. Miami's one of those schools that you can't continuously lose, and you can't get blown out by Florida State. So, but yeah, I think Cristobal's not going anywhere this year. Florida State, I don't know their situation. Georgia Tech's interesting because they're a Power 5 school, but not a traditional power. I don't know what the booster situation is like at Georgia Tech. I'm sorry. I don't know because bottom line, it's going to take a lot of money. I don't know if Georgia Tech has the finances. I do know Miami, Florida, and Florida State does. I don't know about Georgia Tech and if they're willing to really step up to the plate. So that's going that actually would be pretty interesting. I don't think Kingsbury lasts at Arizona neither. I think he goes back to college too. Him and Murray aren't getting along. They blew up in the sidelines earlier in the season. Got to be. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that despite Murray's phenomenal talent, he's just not the elite quarterback everybody kept on seeing him to be. I think the blowing up on the sidelines and the playbook clause, which I know they eliminated. I think all these things are kind of adding up. I just remember like when he was being interviewed before he even made the decision to come into football, he was just kind of a weird guy, giving just weird interviews and everything. If you do let Kingsbury go, which is definitely a real possibility because Arizona there's some things to like in Arizona. What do you do? As far as Kingsbury is concerned, he could be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. That would be an excellent position for him. He could easily step back into the college ranks. She talked about Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech and Kingsbury, that could work perfect. I don't know what Georgia Tech's roster and recruiting class is like. There's a lot of other details, but I could see him taking a head coaching job. I could see him staying in the NFL. I would not be surprised if Kingsbury got fired from Arizona. He would be a candidate in either Carolina or Indianapolis. No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Kingsbury done at the end of the season, probably an OC in a few years and maybe college again. That's another one of great stories. So I said Oregon can sneak in. I say maybe TCU can be that team this season with Clemson losing last weekend. Ohio State, Michigan play each other too. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's the thing about Oregon. They're not going to lose again for the rest of the year, and the Bo Nix Heisman train is ramping up. I think after this weekend, even with a loss, Bryce Young kind of put his stamp as the Heisman frontrunner, even with a loss. And I think that what Alabama's going to do is they're going to win out. And I think they're going to put up some big numbers because they're just going to say, hey, look, we're just going to blow everybody out. We're going to put up some big time numbers. We're going to win Bryce Young a Heisman, and we're going to try to be a 2-loss team to get into the BCS, which the only 2-loss team that can get in there would be Alabama. And the reason why is that they can still beat Georgia, who will be the number 1 team, probably the number 1 team going into that SEC championship. It's going to be. I mean, what a great year for football. And LSU, by the way, if you didn't watch that game, I watched part of it. LSU has a ton of true freshmen. I have no idea what Brian Kelly is telling these kids, but there's a guy on LSU, number 40. I don't know his name, true freshman. He looked like the best player on the field. Like I'm watching this kid going, oh my God, like that guy's going to be a top 10 pick in a couple of years. True freshman, just played lights out. I think Ohio State will beat Michigan. The game's in Ohio State. So Ohio State, if they are undefeated, of course, they're going to get in. Georgia looked very impressive. I do think that they fall sometime. I don't know where. I don't know when, but I don't think Georgia will be undefeated. Does Tennessee win out? Does Alabama win out? It's a great story. TCU versus Texas this week. Yeah, TCU needs a big win against Texas because TCU is a team that nobody's talking about. Yeah, I know they play in the Big 12, but people kind of look at the Big 12 as the the stepsister. It's use the old reference. It's the Jan Brady, if you will. they not only need to beat Texas, they need to be impressive beating Texas. So they got to win by double digits. So it's tough. It's really, really, really tough. So yeah. Me and Denver Gator both like Notre Dame. I mean, this is a game Notre Dame traditionally wins, and Clemson, even though they're undefeated, they just didn't look like an undefeated team. I blame this. I blame this more on Murray than I do Kingsbury, but yeah. So all this Murray drama started during the offseason on social media, putting the playbook clause crazy because they were doing well early last year, but relationship doesn't seem right. I think it's on Murray, to be honest with you, and Kingsbury. I don't know is an elite coach, but I think people are seeing that Murray, despite all this talent. He's just not. He's not an MVP player that everybody thought he would be. People thought he was going to be like one of the top 10 players in the National Football League. People thought he was going to be like Mahomes or Josh Allen, and he's just not. At times he looks really good, and at other times you can confuse him. He's just not the level of player that people thought. People thought this would be the best quarterback in the National Football League, and I think he's maybe top 10, but he's not top 5, and he needed to be top 5. And he's not a leader. He's not a guy you rally behind. And Kingsbury isn't an elite head coach who's now in the hot seat. And by the way, if Kingsbury does get fired, how appealing is Arizona? That's going to be an interesting story. LSU and Ole Miss are favored to go to the SEC West for Georgia. Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting story because LSU, do they come back? Does Ole Miss continue to keep winning? A lot of stories. Yeah, I mentioned that. Funk and One Pride are not here. Now, I did pick Green Bay to win. And One Pride put in a comment, talking about that. So maybe they're mad at me. So yeah. Yeah, no Lions talk. It's strange, and I love my Lions fans. So they very supportive of this channel, and they're not here today, but that's okay. I'm positive they'll be back Friday. Man, I'm scared of Kenneth Walker this week in Germany playing Seattle. Man, he looks good. We have to get this offense going and force Geno to score as well. If they can lean on the run, we may be in trouble. Yeah, and One Pride, who loves Kenneth Walker, he would tell you that he knew this guy was going to be lights out. I did not. I didn't think he would be this good. And another thing is that Seattle's offensive line, which is starting 2 rookies, is playing lights out. That was kind of a weak spot on this team. Then they drafted their left tackle in the first round, or right tackle in the third round, and the offensive line's one of the top 10 units in the National Football League. Give a lot of credit to the offensive line, which is allowing holes for Kenneth Walker, who got his shot when number 20, I love that guy coming out of San Diego State, drawing a complete blank. Rashad Penny, I'm sorry. So Rashad Penny goes down, who was playing really well. Kenneth Walker steps in, plays just as well, if not better. But the offensive line's a lot to do with it. And the defense is getting better and better. That's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a real fun game. I can't wait to watch that. Mid-season Hard Knocks of Arizona put more spot. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be interesting. One thing I'm very disappointed with all those Hard Knocks is that you have to keep in mind, you have to set up a deal with the team, and they do have an option. It's not just an open forum. It's not like cameras can come in wherever. It's very cut and paste, like certain things they should do, certain things they shouldn't do. And I think that we're going to miss some things, but I'm hoping we can get some things. But it'll be very interesting to see what they release and what they don't. I love all those things. I love all the Hard Knocks. I can't get enough of it. Maybe Murray should have played baseball instead. He'll probably make more money playing. I mean, seriously, here's the deal. He wouldn't make more money playing baseball, but he wouldn't have been the number 1 pick in the draft. I think that his agent steered him to football because of the endorsements of being the number one pick, of being the face of the franchise. Where in baseball, he wouldn't be the face of the franchise. With Arizona, when you think Arizona Cardinals, you think Kyler Murray selling those one jerseys out left and right. And the endorsements, by the way, the endorsements where the agents get paid on. A lot of people think the agents get paid on the contracts. No, the agents get paid on endorsements. A little sports 101 education on agents. Agents get paid. It's like 2% and less. Some agents only get like 0.5% off of an NFL contract, but where agents make their money is on endorsements. The agent actually gets anywhere between like 50 to 75% of those endorsements. So like State Farm, for example, here in the Midwest, you can't go 30 minutes watching a TV show without seeing Patrick Mahomes do a commercial. His agent's making all that money, not Mahomes. So a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think that the agent money is on the contract. It's on the endorsements. Where being that he would make more money playing baseball, he wouldn't be the face of a franchise. I don't know anything about baseball. I have no idea who the best baseball player in the world is right now. But when he signed with Arizona, he was the face of that franchise. And he gets a little bit of money for all those Kyler Murray jerseys. And there are tons of them. So finally, a good draft for Pete Carroll. They've been bad for a while. He's like 70-something too, right? Yeah. He's having a fun season. He didn't want to move off Wilson, so maybe yeah, it's I blasted the Seahawks draft for years, and then this year I was like, this is a great draft because they got their left tackle, then they got their right tackle. Their running back, who I kind of questioned, that was like the one pick I didn't like, and it wasn't anything against Walker. Remember, when they drafted him, Chris Carson was still on the team. He retired close to training camp, and then Rashad Penny, when healthy, he looks like a monster. He's never been able to stay healthy. Remember, he got injured. That's when Walker took over. And then Tyreek Wooden in the 5th round, that was a great pickup. They did a lot of really, really good things. This was a great draft, an all-time great draft for Seattle Seahawks. Now they just got to keep it going. And it'll be very interesting. What do they do with Geno Smith? Now, he did sign a contract extension, but the Geno Smith contract is not a set in stone thing. He could easily hold out and say, you know what? I played at a pretty good level. I want this 30, 40, 50 million, I want the big money now. And Seattle may have to give it to him. That's going to be interesting. It wouldn't surprise me if Seattle and Geno Smith kind of restructure that contract and pay him like a legitimate NFL starter. He did get a boost this year from backup money, but there's a big difference between being a backup and a starter. So that's going to be a very interesting story. And the defense is getting better and better each week. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Where does OBJ go? Jerry Jones. Yeah, I was saying he would go with the Rams, but with the Rams losing, that may not work out. I wouldn't actually be surprised at all to see him go to Tampa Bay. Dallas is always a possibility. So Mason says Mahomes is cool, but his wife and brother is annoying. So what his brother did is his brother, I actually ran into his brother at Harrah's. Not going to say like we hung out, we're friends or anything, but I ran into him, and I'm just kind of ballparking a glimpse, but his brother's tall but not athletic at all. Like he just kind of looks like gangly. Like I feel like I'm insulting him, but what he's doing is that he's like, hey, I can market my social media brand off of my brother's success, and I think it's a smart move. And then his wife, she does a lot of stuff, and they most people think that they're annoying, but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, as somebody, keep in mind, you're talking to a guy who is trying to build up a YouTube channel. So of course I'm going to defend people on social media. So yeah, but yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone. Now all the Packers have to do is trade Rodgers, and this will be officially the week. Yeah. So I'm going to go through these games pretty quick here, because I'm almost at an hour and a half. I haven't even talked about any of these games. Thursday night, if I do bet on Atlanta, I'm going to do an emergency betting alert. I'll put out a quick video. It may just be a short. I like Atlanta to cover 3. It is in Carolina, so I'm a little hesitant on that. Or it's Germany. I'm sorry, I said London, but in Europe, Germany specifically, Seattle and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's a 2.5-point favorite. It's only because it's Brady. Seattle should actually be the favored team. Great game. Can't wait. I have no idea. Give me a if you want to give me a shot, I would actually say Seattle because I think they're playing better. But this is going to be a great game. Great game. Playoff implications. It's going to be a phenomenal game. Detroit at Chicago. Chicago's a 2.5-point favorite. I haven't checked out the weather report yet. I'm going to. The over-under is 48.5, which is kind of high, considering both offenses have struggled. Yeah, I know Chicago been putting up a lot of points lately. Are they going to continue to do this? That's going to be something interesting to see. I want to check out the weather report. I'll have that down. Really interesting game. I like Chicago a lot. I like the way that they've been playing lately. I'm going to check out the weather report on Friday. I'll have a definite answer. If it stays under 3, I think Chicago's a good bet. This is a game that a lot of people think should have been flexed, and it hasn't been. I'm a little surprised. Minnesota at Buffalo. Buffalo's 5.5-point favorite. I've been hard on Minnesota kind of unfairly, but they've been playing lights out. I think even with – I want to hear more about Josh Allen injury. I'd be leaning towards Buffalo coming back with a vengeance. I do like Buffalo here, but I'll have more details, and I'll give you my final pick on Friday. I have not checked out the weather report. It's 45.5, which is a low number for teams playing pretty well offensively. Jacksonville at Kansas City. Kansas City's a 9.5-point favorite. I know for a fact that I lost a lot of money last week betting on the over. I like the over being 50.5. The weather is supposed to be nice if I know better. 9.5 is a big number. It'll be interesting. This is going to be a fun one, though. Kansas City should win pretty easily. The Chiefs' schedule, by the way, for those of you that don't know, is pretty easy for the rest of the season, even though they do play Seattle and the Rams, but they are going to be favored every game this year. Cleveland at Miami. Miami's 3.5-point favorite. A lot of talk about Tyreek Hill in the chat, which is awesome. I like what Cleveland's been doing. This will be a fun game. Off the top of my head, the way Miami's been playing, 3.5 is a small number. I expect this to go up quite a bit. I haven't checked out the weather report. If the weather is nice on Miami, 48.5 is an interesting number. I'll be kind of eyeballing this one. Houston at New York. New York's a 6.5-point favorite. This could be skyrocketing up. The over-under is 41, which is a good number. If the weather's bad, I may want to consider taking under on this one. This will be a fun game to watch. Denver at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 3-point favorite. This number's been creeping up. It was at 2.5. The over-under has been plummeting. It's now 38.5. Normally what you want to do is when you take the over, you want to wait. I think this number is going to continue to drop. You may be able to get 38. I can't take under 38. I haven't checked the weather report in Tennessee. I do like Tennessee to cover 3, even with a backup quarterback. This is going to be another really interesting game. Saints at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a 2.5-point home favorite or home dog. I'm sorry. This is going to be a real interesting game. I do like Pittsburgh. Haven't put action on it yet, though. Colts at the Raiders. I talked about this earlier with Saturday taking over. I do like the way the Colts have been playing. I don't like the way the Raiders have been playing, even though I've been hyping up the Raiders all year. After blowing a 17-point lead, it's too much. It's just hard. The Raiders favored 6.5 at home. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts win this game outright. This is going to be a really, really, really fun game. Dallas at Green Bay. Green Bay's a 5-point home dog. The last 3 weeks, I've said Green Bay's going to turn it around. I actually tell you the truth, I haven't checked the weather report. The over-under is 43. This may be the game, even though both Rashawn Gary's out for the year. Both defenses are actually playing pretty well. I would probably lean towards the over, though. I'm going to pay attention to this one. I haven't checked the weather report. By the way, Friday show, I'll have the weather reports down and my final picks for everything. And if I do bet on Thursday night, I will do an emergency betting alert. Arizona at the Rams. Rams are a 3-point favorite. This is a big game. Loser, you can pretty much write off. If Arizona loses, don't be surprised that Kingsbury is like on the boiling hot seat, next coach to go. This is a fun game. I'm kind of surprised the line is so high. Chargers traveling to San Francisco. San Francisco is a 7-point favorite. Really surprised about this one. Really surprised about this one. I think the line should be a lot lower. There is going to be a home field advantage. The Chargers are very, very banged up. Surprised it's at 7, though. The over-under is 45.5. This is going to be very interesting. Probably not a weather game, but it's going to be a very interesting one. And finally, Washington at Philly. Philly's an 11-point favorite on Monday night. Don't be surprised Washington wins this one. Do I have enough balls to take Washington plus 11? Maybe. I got action on 2 games, but you got to wait to hear which games I've already put bets down on. I will reveal this is that I do like Washington and I do like Pittsburgh, but I haven't put bets on either one of those yet. Also Thursday night, I'm on the fence. I will do an emergency bet alert if I do take action on Atlanta. Vikings Bills, very interesting to me. Vikings only loss was to the Eagles, so it's a good test for them. Kurt is lucky they didn't flex it. We all know why. Yeah, exactly. I actually think this game deserves to be flexed, but I have to admit the Chargers Niners game is going to be a good one. That's going to be it's a great AFC NFC matchup. I really like that game. It's going to be a fun one. Yeah, it is going to be a big game. Leaning off top of my head right now, I kind of like Buffalo. I'm going to see who's playing, who's not, how bad is the Allen injury, but yeah. Chiefs-Chargers game got flexed. Yes. So the Chiefs-Chargers are playing next week. It's going to be on Sunday night. That's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. It would be epic if Kingsbury gets fired on Hard Knocks. Yeah. By the way, here's the thing, you're getting a watered down version every time they do these. So you're not going to see like if players get in a fight or if a coach and a player gets in a fight, you're not going to see that, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching this, and I hope that we get to see some stuff. I think it'll be pretty watered down for the most part. Like, we'll probably see a lot of Kyler Murray behaving like he should, like, watching film, being a good teammate. We'll probably see like a lot of him and Kingsbury like getting along. Probably a lot on DeAndre Hopkins at home, junk like that. But oh God, I would love it. The best. I say best, but sad. But the best thing about Hard Knocks was when Chad Johnson's NFL career ended. They filmed that on Hard Knocks where I forget the coach. He was the first time head coach. He had to let Chad Johnson go because he was arrested for headbutting. He was arrested for headbutting his girlfriend, whether it happened, whether it didn't. Wife. She was one of those desperate housewife. I don't watch any of that shit, but I know that she was a celebrity. Chad Johnson was arrested, so it made news. After he was arrested, he came to camp, and I forget the coach's name off the top of my head, but he was first-year head coach, and he had to fire Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson was crying, and it was a sad moment because his NFL career was over, but it was also great television. So, and Chad Johnson bounced back. He's all over social media and he does like TV. And I thought like I saw something where he was thinking about getting into boxing, which I would love. But hopefully if he does get fired, hopefully they show it. I like the Niners game. In that game, especially the Chiefs on deck for the Chargers. I think this could be the point in the season where the Chargers start to fall apart. I mean, the injuries are really starting to ramp up. And I've been trying to tell people the Chargers aren't as good. If you're a Chiefs fan, you see this every year where Chargers are going to win the AFC West, and every year they underperform. But yeah, I'm really glad that was flexed out because that's always a good game. Always a good game. I wonder if they got the line on that game, the early line. Sometimes they do. Chiefs, even though it's in LA, the Chiefs are currently, you can actually put action on this. You can take the Chiefs 5.5. So Friday, I'm going to have my final picks. I'm going to go over all my picks, and I'll have the weather report down. I have 2 games I've already put action on. There may be more. I'm going to do a video with Denver Gator after Thursday Night Football with the picks. And if I do bet on Thursday Night Football, do an emergency betting alert. I'll put something out there. I do like Atlanta to cover 3. I just haven't put the bet down yet. I'm on the fence whether I will or won't. I gave you a few games that I do like, but I'm going to check out the injury reports. I'm going to check out the weather reports. And I'll have a video with Denver Gator probably before Friday because I've already started working on the video. So I'll have that ready to go. If you haven't already, give me the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, most of you guys are regulars. Hit that subscribe button. Share this video. It'd mean the world to me. Also, after the show's over, drop a comment in there. It helps the algorithm. It really, really does help me out. So nobody has anything else. I'm going to wrap up. By the way, all my social media links are below. If you have any questions, I think it was Amazement. You're in a Survivor League. If you have any questions, you want to hit me up. If you DM me on social media, I will get back to you unless you DM me late Saturday night. Usually what happens is Saturday night, I shut off my phone for Sunday. So if you hit me Saturday night or Sunday, I usually won't answer my phone, but you hit me up on a direct message or drop a comment, I will do my best to respond. So with that said, man, thank you so much, Amazement. I'll be back Friday. Friday, I'm going to have my final picks. I'm going to have that video with my picks revealed. I already put action on 2 games. There may be more. So I'll see everybody back on Friday.